This meeting is a meeting of the Princeton Board of Education and Public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. Public participation is governed by Board Bylaw 0169.1. Public participation at board meetings. Roll call, please.
Mr. Simons?
Present.
Mrs. Kessler?
Here.
Mrs. Wider?
Here.
Mrs. Cleveland?
Here.
Mrs. Moore?
Here.
Okay, Mr. Carr, could you leave us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Need a motion for the approval or revision of the agenda.
I move to approve I move that we approve or revise the agenda as needed.
Second.
Moved and seconded, Mrs. Petter.
Mrs. Kessler?
Yes.
Mrs. Wider?
Yes.
Mrs. Cleveland?
Yes.
Mrs. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Simons?
Yes. Motion passes. There are no public visitors today, so we will move to item number 3. Executive session, need a motion?
I move that we go into executive session to discuss under sections 121.22G1 to consider the employment and compensation of a public employee of the Ohio Revised Code.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded, Mrs. Petter?
Mrs. Wider?
Yes.
Mrs. Cleveland?
Yes.
Mrs. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Simons?
Yes.
Mrs. Kessler?
Yes.
We will reconvene after this executive session. Okay, we are back. We're on item number 4, consent agenda. Need a motion?
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Mrs. Petter?
Mrs. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Simons?
Yes.
Mrs. Kessler?
Yes.
Mrs. Wider?
Yes.
Mrs. Cleveland?
Yes.
Motion passes. Item number 5, district business. Need a motion on the July 2025 financial report.
I move to approve the July 2025 financial report as presented.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Mrs. Petter, I believe this is your report.
Yeah. One annual item also included in the July report, and that is a requirement by the state and the state auditor that the board approves all investments in commercial paper for the year. So the report was attached with all the commercial paper we have invested in this year, and an explanation of ORC, why that's required, was also attached. After the board approves, we then send it up to the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce, and we also send it to the auditor of the state. This is an annual item. We've done it several years now. On the other July items, you have your 018 report. Starting out the new year, I start again, I clear out all the revenue expenses from the previous fiscal year. We start fresh. You have that report attached. Then I use that same format that I have on the 018 corporate donations fund, and I started the same thing for the 070 fund, which was that capital outlay fund. That's the repairs that are extensive, add value to the plant, and are good for a period of time. That's the 070 fund. We put $4 million at the last meeting of June in there. Then we also moved $4 million into the PI fund, 003, and this is for textbook adoptions, tech adoptions, those kind of, they're larger expenses, but they're not quite as large as the capital. So we can then track those expenses, and so you'll have a ticking of that annually of what we've spent that money on, okay? I think this is a good addition for us to include, so we can be transparent with the public about that money we did move and how we're spending it, okay? The other items, credit card, bank settlement statements are also in your July report. That's it?
Any questions?
Mr. Simons?
Yes.
Mrs. Kessler?
Yes.
Mrs. Wyder?
Yes.
Mrs. Cleveland?
Yes.
Mrs. Moore?
Yes.
Motion passes. Now, okay, so we're moving to B, which is transfer of funds, which are different than the ones you outlined previously, is that correct?
Correct.
Need a motion for that?
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded.
This is a transfer we do annually also, and this is from the athletic tournament fund into the athletic operating fund. So you can just see, and everyone can be aware of, we do a lot of hard work in our athletic department to host all those tournaments. And this is a benefit, that we do have the proceeds. When the year is over, those proceeds can be transferred into our athletic fund to help with their operations. And I'm going to come up with that amount in 1 second. I believe it was somewhere around 36,000, which, anyone, I'm sorry, but I don't have that right here. $35,510.63. So that's a nice sum of money, even though it does take our team a ton of work, and we are a great place to host. We have great parking, we have great facilities, and so the state tournaments do like coming here. So we'll take a little bit of a break this year. We will have some revenue, but with the football field and track being shut down, that will hit our pocketbook a little bit, but we'll have plenty of indoor tournaments and baseball tournaments, and Joe will have some money to move next year to help them out.
Okay. Any questions on that? Ms. Kessler, any questions? Ms. Better?
Mrs. Kessler?
Yes.
Mrs. Wyder?
Yes.
Mrs. Cleveland?
Yes.
Mrs. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Simons?
Yes. Motion passes. Approval of the MOU with Newslia, or Newslia.
I move to approve the memorandum of understanding with Newsela as presented.
What is it?
That's what I would
Zella.
have said.
Newsela.
We know what you meant, though.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I knew what you
It
meant.
sounded
what
so
you
much
meant.
like the peanut butter
It
imitation.
does a little bit.
Yeah.
I said, no, it couldn't be Nutella.
Make me hungry.
That's
Yeah.
a lot of taste.
Oh, second. Did somebody second?
No.
Okay, second.
Okay, who
I
understands
got it.
Nutella?
We're working with them on a research study. We already use them. They're gonna give us 4 free licenses to use to do that research study, and I think it's science 7th and 8th grade, I believe, to be able to do that. And we'll share what we are doing. They'll share what they get out of it, and we'll just have some conversation to make it better. So it's nice. We're getting 4 free licenses there. That's always a good thing. Just deals with formative assessments and things of that nature, as you can see in the write-up.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Okay, Mrs. Perry?
Mrs. Wyder?
Yes.
Mrs. Cleveland?
Yes.
Mrs. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Simons?
Yes.
Mrs. Kessler?
Yes.
Motion passes. Number 6, academic update discussion.
Yes, we have Dr. Jameson will come up, talk a little bit about human resources and some of our things they're doing. Quickly. I'm teasing. I'll give him a hard time.
Yeah, good evening. I have a lot of information contained in the presentation, which you can then also kind of look as we go through with a number of the links that you have access to. But one of the things I wanted to spotlight here with our icons here are the number of partnerships that we have with our Human Resources Department, specifically with Xavier University and the College of Mount St. Joseph. We work pretty closely with them, as well as the Ohio Department of Higher Education on a number of programs. And then you also see our INVEST program, which we'll be going into our second year of implementation with that program to support our new teachers and also some of our new paraprofessionals. With our area of academic excellence and how we contribute to that, looking again at those partnerships with Xavier, Mount St. Joe, and Ohio State University, since 2021, we've had 16 participants participate in the Grow Your Own teaching licensure program, 11 with Mount St. Joe and 4 with Ohio State. And so the data below just really outlines those teachers that we've been able to directly hire, as well as teachers who are still in the process of securing positions. Sometimes we've had some cases where they've been able to secure a position in a different district because of the particular subject area that they're licensed in. And then at the bottom, you'll see listed there just the number of teachers or prospective teachers who are in their student teaching for the 25-26 school year. A lot of this was made possible through Ohio Department of Higher Education, and we have a good collaboration with them to help with the scholarship applications. We had a total of 6 awarded and 4 who are currently waitlisted, waiting on the state's budget to see if they can have those funds released. As far as health and safety and wellness, listed here you'll see information regarding our WellWorks program, as well as WellBalance and FinFit. What you'll find spotlighted in the attachment that's listed there is that somewhere between the implementation of the program in 2022 to now, we have been able to increase our utilization from 26% of staff to 38% of staff who are participating in the WellWorks program. With CuraLink, you'll see the quarterly report listed there for the first quarter of 2025. And what we've seen there is an increased amount of utilization with staff who've accessed counseling and other supports. And these are some of the different platforms that they do in terms of staff members being able to access that support for themselves or their children. And we've seen an increase in utilization in that area as well. As far as stewardship, effective communication reference tools, what you see linked here is, of course, each year we update the administrative desk reference, and then there's a human resources online toolkit for administrators to access necessary documents and forms. One of the other pieces in sharing with our administrators a connection with our bargaining groups, PACE and PSSA, is that we have regularly scheduled shared solutions meetings for our most recent negotiations that we had in 2023. We had put some language in there to ensure that we had district level as well as building level shared solutions meetings. And also linked within this slide are some additional pieces that we were able to spotlight some specific changes based on our interest-based bargaining activity. And so Mrs. Cleveland and also Mrs. Whiter helped with some of the negotiations that we had. And so in preparation for this next negotiations that will take place in the spring of 2026, we're refreshing this information and sharing it with administrators to make sure that they're familiar with a lot of these contract changes that have been made, as well as identifying what particular issues or interests might be helpful to take to negotiations and have those processes take place. With regards to health and safety, myself, Dr. Fosna, as well as Jeff McDaniel in the past and John Trickey have worked with the administrators in the schools specifically around threat assessment. And the threat assessment has been a requirement since 2023 for schools. And what we've done basically is outlined some of these links to really spotlight the work that's been done for the 5-step process under Dewey Cornell, which helps kind of determine if there is a credible threat to any type of serious threat when it comes to a student situation, and then to kind of reinforce what we do to make sure that we are looking at those situations in a very, I would say, multidisciplinary way, is that we have the 8 critical steps which were defined by the United States Secret Service. And it's a way for us to just make sure that we're always putting in safeguards and activities to ensure that we're looking at any particular threat that might come in a campus situation, that we're able to ensure that the staff are trained. And so we have a total of about 75 staff members district-wide who are trained in this threat assessment protocol. It's due to be renewed this year because it has been 3 years, and we have a connection with Hamilton County Educational Service Center where they're going to offer refresher training this year because we're at that 3-year mark. And then also any new staff members who just joined us who are going to be part of the threat assessment team will be able to get a full training through Hamilton County Educational Service Center. What you see listed here is our, just for PACE, our PACE members. So this not only includes our teaching staff, but anyone who is in the PACE union, counselors, speech and language pathologists, and such. From 2015-16 school year to this most recent year, 2025, the number of new employees is in the first column. In the second column, the number of those employees who are still with us currently. And in the third column, what does that look like in terms of retention rate? And so you could see that in 2019, 2020, at the end of that year, that's when the pandemic came on board in March, during the fourth quarter of the school year. You could see for 2020, 2021, that was the year that a lot of teachers who were graduating their teacher preparation programs in 2020 were coming into the workforce. So that's a pretty unique phenomenon that, you know, the percentage rate in terms of retention is down to, was 28% at that time. Because looking at a 5-year teacher retention rate that was conducted by the University of Pennsylvania, 56% is where you would normally be for a school district. And that was a study that was done in 2023. For the 3-year retention rate, which under the Educational Resource Strategies Group, they did a study, and for our district, we're at 67%. And on average, there's not conclusive data for the state of Ohio, but under the study that was done on a national scale, 71 to 77% is where a district roughly is. And then for this most recent year, which is, of course was our levy year, the 1-year teacher retention rate, we're at 83%, and the National Center for Education Studies said that 83 to 84% is where most districts should be. This is just to give you a good outline in relationship to the levy, where we were with resignation notices before the levy, after the levy, as well as retirement notices before the levy and after the levy. Under the admin, you'll see of the 8, 3 were Hamilton County Educational Service Center staff, and under the 2, 1 was a Hamilton County Educational Service Center staff member. We replaced 10 of those 12 positions, and then did not fill another position. So altogether, there were 3 that were not replaced in admin, 24 that were not replaced in PACE, 16 in PSSA, 1 at non-bar. You'll see that there are some current vacancies listed in that last column. So I do have that spotlighted on this next slide. Up at the top, you'll see that that's our current number of staff members in each of the groups, and then the current vacancies that we have in each of the groups. One of the questions that I believe Mr. Simons and Ms. Kessler asked recently was how many people actually resigned between the beginning of May and the end of July. So tracking that data for the last 5 years, what you'll see here is that for our most recent year, 24-25, we had 2 non-bar, 3 admin, 16 PACE, and 5 PSSA. And then listed below there are the reasons that were listed by those staff members for their resignation. And so the first column is moving to another district. The second is other, which is an option that they choose. The third is promotion. So if you look at that third column, for that first year, we had a total of 4 people who ended up moving on because they were promoted. And then also 4 for personal reasons, 3 for outside of the field of education, and then 1 for those folks who were leaving the city. And so for 24-25, that's what the data looks like. You could see for 23-24 and going back to 2020-2021, for each of the classes of staff, what those numbers actually look like as far as resignations occurring between May 1st and July 30th. Because July 10th is such an important deadline for people to submit that we're pretty watchful of that. As far as exit interviews go, we have conducted a total of completed actual surveys, 152 over the last 5 years. You'll see here in terms of the PSSA, for example, in terms of exit interviews over the last 5 years, it's been a total of 45, and it constitutes about 19% of exits. PACE 46%, and so on. The industry standard roughly is between 30 and 35%, so we're right at about 33% in terms of completed exit, either interviews or completed exit questionnaires. And for a lot of the folks, it was close to about 50 staff members that I've had the opportunity over the last few years to talk to face-to-face because they've requested that face-to-face connection. In terms of what contributed to the decision to leave, with these responses, staff members could choose any of the responses, multiple choices. But these are the number of actual reasons that were chosen by staff. And so of 153, you'll see that there's a total of 20 in terms of who's quoted like lack of advancement or the type of work, number 16, for example. How would you describe the following aspects of your job responsibilities? This chart, you'll see the actual complete sentence at the bottom there. So job was challenging. You'll see here over 100 respondents said that they agreed that the job was challenging and that they also agreed that their skills were used effectively. So this is very promising data in terms of actually feeling like they felt like their skills were well utilized. Red indicates disagree and yellow indicates not decided. How would you rate your department? And there's a number of different ways to look at department. You could look at department in terms of grade level. You could look at department in terms of content area, or you could look at the actual department that you work in within either central office or a building. And so in terms of friendliness and cooperation of fellow employees, over 75, close to about 80 respondents rated as excellent, and cooperation within the department. So, and then red indicates fair. So when you're looking at the blue, you'll see that those are pretty predominant in this data series. The same thing with how would you describe your supervisor in terms of giving fair and equal treatment, was available to discuss job-related issues, welcome suggestions and encourage feedback, and resolve complaints and grievances. You'll see that predominantly, yes, agree. There is some disagree, and there is an opportunity to address those as we talk through shared solutions meetings. And then the last here is, what did you like least about your job? And these were the number of choices that were made in each of those categories of the 153 people who responded. And what did you like best about your job? One of the things that really stood out to me here is that 112 respondents really liked their coworkers. They liked 39 and 38 discussed the training and education opportunities and quality of supervision. Questions?
I have a couple. On the, first of all, the links, if you could send us the presentation with the links working, they're not working on Board Docs,
Yes.
so that we can actually utilize them. And then on the, going back, it's not page number, sorry.
That's good.
On the human resources stewardship, where you talked about the resignations. Yeah. I'll go ahead and keep going. Where you talked about the resignations and gave us a chart. Are these voluntary or involuntary resignations? I mean, do we know? In terms of the resignations themselves.
In terms of this specific
Yeah.
slide, those are all voluntary.
So these are voluntary resignations. So when it, just from a board standpoint, when it's involuntary, are we made aware of that? Like percentages, not individuals, but just information concerning, does that make sense? Because I didn't see anything here that talked about involuntary.
So involuntary meaning like if we have somebody who is resigning for a different reason, not
Being asked.
necessarily being asked to resign.
Right.
Yes.
And if you can give us the data on that, in terms of how many do we have that are involuntary, because that goes into disciplinary actions.
Right.
And there's nothing in here that talks about how we capture that information or how that information is being disseminated to the board.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. That's it for me, so.
When the employees said lack of recognition, did they give you any suggestions on what they were seeking from a recognition standpoint?
Many that I spoke with spoke of, I mean, the district having great opportunities for recognition through what we do with like Viking Excellence Awards, years of service, but something much more closer to home that's kind of delivered by the principal or the leadership at the school.
Such as?
Department recognitions, such as like special education department, or EL department recognition, or content area group that's working really hard. A structured way to ensure that that recognition happens at that level, in addition to what the district does.
Have we implemented any of those things? Or even studied them and ready for implementation or not?
We've taken a lot of that into consideration with respect to some of the programs we've launched with like Invest and Spectra in the past, and then being able to provide that feedback to administration.
Dr. Jameson, I believe the middle schools just started something to do some more specific recognition. I saw on social media. So I'll get more about that and get it to you.
The
But I
middle
did-
school?
Yeah, I did just see that, something on
Okay.
social media. I saw something before, but they did their first one today, and I can get that. I'll get you more information.
Okay.
Thank you. This
You're
is a lot of information. Thank you for sharing all that.
And I can get the additional data on the
Yeah,
request that you have.
I just want to look at involuntary along with voluntary.
Because I have an actual record of which ones were involuntary. from separations that were turned in. So yes, and that were linked to discipline. Right. So to answer your question, to kind of double back now that I understand it more clearly, I would say that this does include involuntary, but it doesn't make the distinction between of these, which was voluntary, and what was involuntary. But it's definitely on the lower side.
Okay, thank you.
And I would say, Dr. Jameson, thank you for tying it back to our strategic plan as we talked about today, and we've been doing in cabinet, and I try to do with the board as well, so thank you for that.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving forward is item number 7, Treasurer's Report.
One item I wanted to share with the board, that the forecasting company that we use, their software has converted our forecast from fiscal year 25 to 26. So we will be looking pretty quickly at doing another forecast to show the 2 transfers, the $4 million and $4 million, which were not in the May forecast because we did them at the end of June. So we need to get that updated and submitted to the state, so everyone's aware of that. Okay? That's all.
That's it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's coming. Give her time.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
coming.
Superintendent's report.
Yes, sir, thank you. Just a few things. New staff orientation was last Wednesday, so that went really well, about 40 plus. Something I mentioned today as well was we had about 7 or 8 alumni or so, I don't, 6 or 7 alumni in that group, which was awesome. We did a bus tour. This district's a lot, and people are realizing, oh, there's a lot of train tracks. And I said, yeah, make sure you leave early, and we got caught. And then the convocation today was great. I'm a little underdressed today because I left my t-shirt on, not my tie like I usually have with these, but really good, good day, I thought. Good morning. Thank you to Morgan, Lily, Claudia, and Colin, who were my student MCs today, did a great job. You know, as I posted something earlier, we talk about student voice, so we're gonna talk it, we're gonna walk it. I will, and I mentioned also, we'll be having my superintendent cabinet, student cabinets coming up, so you can find that application online if you're interested in that. And I put that out on social media as well. I do want to say thank you to, I said it today, but our custodians. If you've been around any buildings today, you see how great it looks. Our maintenance and grounds, it's been challenging because we've kind of not had a lot of overtime because we're trying to be fiscally responsible. So if it rains a couple days, some stuff might grow up, but they're working very hard to keep it looking nice. And then I forgot to give Mr. Hollowell, the auditorium manager, a shout out. I did it in person, but I didn't do it in front of everybody, so I want to say thank you to him. Thank you to the team here, Ms. Roddy and everybody. She kept me together as far as the videos and stuff of that nature, make sure I didn't mess up. But everybody, I think, did a great job, and we greatly appreciate that. I will say a lot coming up. Meet the Teacher Nights. You can go to PrincetonSchools.net, our website, and Back to School Hub right on front. List all that. I have a list here. I'm not going to read them all because we can go see that on there, but a lot coming up tomorrow, the rest of this week. We also, athletics, and people asked about that. You can go to VikeNation.org, get schedules and things of that nature, and with our stadium being worked on and different things, you can see where we're playing and what's going on. So that's a great place to look there as well. First day of school coming up, Thursday. August 14th, grades 1 through 5, 6 and 9. Friday, August 15th, grades everybody 1, 12, except Monday is when I guess everybody, because pre-K and K come on Monday. So we are easing that in, getting people acclimated to where we're at. We are excited to get the kids back. I know I am. I don't speak for everybody, but sometimes I get tired of dealing with adults all the time. I want to see some kids. So that's why we do this. And it was great to see the kids today. You saw the band, you saw the cheerleaders, you saw the drill team, you saw our student. That's what it's all about. And I think, as I told a story at the end of convocation today, we never know as educators the difference we're making in somebody's lives. And I'll do it real quick. A young man caught me in Dix the other day, 28 years old. I remembered his name. I didn't remember his face. I don't remember anything he did. He told me he was in trouble all the time, and he got in trouble with the law. And if it wasn't for me and some of the teachers that didn't quit on him, he wouldn't have made it. Now he's married with 4 kids and has a great job. We don't remember or I'll speak for me, because I'm getting old, I don't remember a lot of situations, but we just do things because we care about our kids and we love them, we want to make sure they're successful. So to all the educators out there listening, as I said today, you never know the difference you're making in somebody's life. Because I'm sure everybody in this room has had someone come to them and say that if it wasn't for you. That's why we do it. All the other stuff, sometimes you're like, oh, man, but that is why we do it. So look forward to the kids coming back, and we're excited. So that's all I got.
Any updates?
Columbus is Columbus right now. That's all I can say. Just a lot going on legislatively, but we'll get through it like we always do, so everything's good.
I guess I could mention, the state clarified their cell phone policy today, so that dropped
Yes,
finally.
yes.
Just so you know, I've been calling up there for about a month, trying to get it clarified. It said instructional time. We will get more information about this to you, but what it actually says, and let me find this, where I did with it. Maybe. It says, instructional day is any period of time in which students expected to be in attendance and includes not only formal instruction, but also supervised activities such as transitioning between classes, recess, meal periods, and field trips. This has to take effect on January 1 of '26, so we will be in touch with our kids and our families about that a little bit. I think we're going to take the thing of easing into it to make sure that we do it the right way. But by January 1, and we'll probably start before that, phones need to be off and put away, and it shouldn't be out during the school day period. That is not my rule. That is the state of Ohio's rule. So we are going to follow the rules that they tell us. We don't get to pick and choose, so just wanted to throw that out there so you're prepared, but you will see more communication coming in the coming days and weeks.
And I do get the opportunity, coming up, our next meeting, regular meeting in September, I'll actually be in DC, advocating for Ohio schools. So, wish me luck on that. But it's time to take a stand. And so I met this past weekend with the Platform Legislative Committee for Ohio School Board Association, 13 different platforms that we're going to put forth. Again, looking at what's best for Ohio students. So again, I get the opportunity now to take it to DC. So looking forward to it.
Mrs. Snyder? Mrs. Kessler? Gina?
No, I don't have anything. You need a motion to go into executive session?
Yes, if you
Oh.
would lead us in
Oh,
that.
I don't have it in front of me.
You don't
Anyone
have it in
else can
front?
jump in front of me.
You
Go
don't
right
have it?
ahead.
There it is, right there.
I know, it'll take me too
But
long
you
to
just
find
don't want to
it.
say it. Okay.
Pardon?
Does anybody else want to say it?
No, I have problems saying
Anybody else
it.
want to make a motion?
I can make the
Okay,
motion.
thank you.
Is that where we're at?
That's where we are.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you,
I
Mr.
move that
Carter.
we go into executive session to discuss under sections 121.22G1 to consider the employment and compensation of a public employee of the Ohio Revised Code.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Mrs. Barrett?
Mrs. Cleveland?
Yes.
Mrs. Moore?
Yeah.
Mr. Simons?
Yes.
Mrs. Kessler?
Yes.
Mrs. Whiter?
We are in executive session, and we don't expect any activity afterwards.
So
Thank you.